Hi, this is Dr. S. Vallimai from the Department of Chemistry of Dr. MGR Educational and Research Institute. In continuation with the previous PowerPoint, I'm just going to explain part 2 of adsorption. Now this PowerPoint has been prepared by Dr. S. Vallimai and Dr. D. Kavita. So on behalf of us, both of us, I, Dr. S. Vallimai, is going to present the following PowerPoint. Now here we'll see about the adsorption isotherms. The extent of adsorption, that is x by m, where x is the mass of the adsorbate and m is the mass of the adsorbent, depends on the pressure and temperature. So now this is understood by plotting a graph between the x by m and pressure. Now here what is meant by adsorption isotherms first? Adsorption isotherm is the relationship between magnitude of adsorption with pressure or constant temperature. So hence x by m is equal to k to p power 1 by n. From the graph it is clear that the extent of adsorption x by m increases with increasing pressure p and becomes maximum at Ps, that is the saturation temperature pressure. The saturation pressure, the rate of the adsorption becomes equal to the rate of desorption and hence thereby a dynamic equilibrium is reached. So now for the free gas, that is the gas adsorbed on the solid. Further increase of pressure does not alter the equilibrium. As it has reached the maximum, there is no alteration in the increase when the pressure is increased. Now let us see the types of adsorption isotherms. A large number of isotherms of gases on a variety of adsorbent at different temperatures have been studied, but their results are given into 5 different types of adsorption isotherm. In each type, the saturation pressure where the maximum adsorption occurs is indicated by P0. Now the type 1, as postulated by Langmuir, it corresponds to a monomolecular adsorption. So the volume of the gas adsorbed approaches a limiting value P0, which is just enough to complete a monomolecular layer even when the gas pressure is low. So further increase in pressure will not increase the amount of adsorption. For example, adsorption of nitrogen or hydrogen on charcoal at 180 degrees centigrade. The second type and the third type of adsorption, these isotherms show a large deviation from the Langmuir model. The amount of adsorption in each type is going on increasing with increase in pressure. Now this is due to the formation of additional layers over the mono layer by van der Waals force of attraction. So it has been suggested that the gas molecules adsorbed in the first layers may hold a second layer of gas molecules only by weak van der Waals force, which in turn may hold the third layer and so on. For example, the type 2 adsorption isotherm, adsorption of nitrogen or ion on platinum catalyst at 195 degrees centigrade. For the type 3 isotherm, the example is adsorption of bromine on silica or alumina gel at 80 degrees centigrade. The type 4 and the type 5, these isotherms indicate a possibility of condensation of gases in the minute capillary pores of the adsorbent at a pressure even below the saturation pressure. So this is only due to the formation of multi-molecular adsorption layers of the gas molecules, but also due to the condensation of some of the gas molecules within the capillary pores of the adsorbent. So now this is known as capillary condensation of the gas. So the example of the type 4 is adsorption of benzene on silica gel at 50 degrees centigrade, and for type 5 it is the adsorption of water on activated carbon at 100 degrees centigrade. So these are the 5 types of adsorption isotherm which is being consolidated. Now let us move on to an important type of adsorption isotherm. The first one is the Freundlich isotherm. So Freundlich in 1909 gave an empirical relationship between the quantity of the gas adsorbed by unit mass of a solid adsorbent and the pressure at a particular temperature. So now it is expressed by the equation as x by m is equal to Kp to the power 1 by n, where x is the mass of the gas adsorbed on the mass m of the adsorbent at a pressure P. K and n are constants which depends on the nature of the adsorbent and the gas at a particular temperature. Now this relationship is generally represented in the form of a curve where the mass of the gas adsorbed per gram of the adsorbent is plotted against pressure. Taking logarithm for the equation 1, we get log of x by m is equal to log k plus 1 by n into log p. Now the validity of the Freundlich isotherm can be verified by plotting log x by m on y-axis and log p on x-axis. Now if it comes to a straight line, the Freundlich isotherm is valid. The slope of a straight line gives the value of 1 by n and the intercept of the y-axis gives the value of log k. So Freundlich isotherm explains the behavior of absorption in an appropriate manner. The factor 1 by n can have the values from 0 to 1. Hence the equation 2 holds good only over a limited range of pressure. The next adsorption isotherm is a Langmuir adsorption isotherm. According to Langmuir adsorption isotherm, you can say there is an assumption when the gas molecules strikes on a solid surface, some of the molecules are adsorbed and some of these are desorbed. Thereby, a dynamic equilibrium is established between adsorption and desorption. Suppose if A is a gas molecule and M is the surface, then A plus M gives AM. Let the fraction of the total surface solid covered by the absorbed molecule be is equal to theta. So fraction of the uncovered, that is the vacant area, is equal to 1 minus theta. So now the rate of desorption is proportional to the number of adsorbed molecules. Hence RD, that is the rate of desorption, is equal to KD into theta. Thus, the rate of the adsorption is proportional to the available uncovered area. So, the rate of adsorption is equal to Ka to 1 minus theta by P. That is 1 minus theta is the uncovered area. Okay, right. So, at equilibrium, the rate of adsorption is equal to the rate of desorption. So, now we are writing Kd of theta is equal to Ka of 1 minus theta into P. Now let this be the first equation. Then on expanding the equation, we get Kd of theta is equal to Ka minus Ka theta P. Now Ka P is equal to Kd theta plus Ka theta P. Now taking the common term theta out, so we get theta into Kd plus Ka P is equal to Ka P into. Now the theta becomes equal to Ka P by Kd plus Ka P. Now the equation is divided by Kd, hence the equation becomes theta of Ka by Kd into P plus 1 by Ka of Kd into P. Now this Ka by Kd, instead of going, it is called as adsorption coefficient, hence this term is replaced by capital K. So now the equation becomes theta is equal to capital K into P by 1 plus capital K into P. But the amount of gases adsorbed per gram of the adsorbent X is proportional to theta. So hence X is directly proportional to theta, or X is directly proportional to theta is nothing but is Kp by 1 plus Kp. So now X is equal to K double dash of Kp by P, Kp by 1 plus 1 by plus Kp, where K is a new constant. K double dash is a new constant. Now the equation 4 gives a relationship between the amount of the gas adsorbed to the pressure of the gas at a constant temperature, which is known as the Langmuir adsorption isotherm. Now here the above equation, the 5, is similar to an equation of a straight line y is equal to mx plus c. So if the graph is plotted between p by x versus p, we get a straight line slope of k by k dash, k and intercept 1 by k dash k. So this value is found valid in all the cases of pressure. Now application of adsorption. In activated charcoal, it is used in gas mask which absorbs all undesirable toxic gases while purified gas passes through the pores. The second one is it is also used for removing coloring matter from the sugar solution and the decoloration in vinegar. The second one, silica and alumina gel. They are used as adsorbents for removing moisture and for controlling humidities of room. The third one is in heterogeneous catalysis. So in heterogeneous catalysis, the molecules are adsorbed on the surface of the catalyst, which form adsorption complex. Then it decomposes to form product. For example, manufacture of sulfur trioxide by contact process and hydrogenation of oil. The fourth one, Fuller's earth. It is used in large quantities for refining petroleum and vegetable oils which adsorb unwanted materials. Then ion exchange. Softening of hard water can be done based on the principles of competing adsorption using ion exchange resins. The next one is the froth flotation process. The sulfide ores, that is the lead sulfide, zinc sulfide, copper 2 sulfide, are freed from silica and other earthy matter by froth flotation process. Oil adsorbs sulfide ores but not others. The next one is the arsenic poisoning. Colloidal ferric hydroxide is administered, which adsorbs arsenic poison and is removed from the body by vomiting. Then the Lake test for aluminium. It is based on adsorption of litmus color by aluminum hydroxide precipitate. Then mordants. These are used in dyeing industry, which adsorbs the coloring matter without attaching to the fabrics. Then it is used in the production of high vacuum. If the partially evacuated vessel is connected to a container of activated charcoal or silica gel cooled with liquid air, it will absorb all the gas molecules in the vessel. This results in a very high vacuum. Then it is used in chromatographic analysis. Selective adsorption by alumina, magnesia can be used for separating different pigments and also mixtures of small quantities of organic substances with the help of adsorption. Then measurement of surface area. Surface area of powders and rough surfaces can be measured by using adsorption measurements. And the last one is the evaporation of water. Due to scarcity of water during summer, a layer of stearic acid is spread over water lakes and reservoirs. The adsorbed stearic acid on the surface of the water minimizes the evaporation of water. Thank you.